Welcome back. Now, the International Girls in ICT Day was established 10 years ago by the UN's International Telecommunications Union and is now celebrated in over 170 countries. It is celebrated annually on the fourth Thursday in April. The theme for this year's celebration is Connected Girls Creating Brighter Futures. Joining me today to discuss the journey of girls in ICT is Patience Adaja, a front-end developer. Welcome, Patience.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's start with some statistics. The ITU has said that there is a 17% gender gap in internet use globally. Now, in your experience in the tech sector, is this a fact? Is this true? Are women less represented? And why, if they are, why do you think that is?
Okay, the statistics is really true. Women are really represented in the ICT sector because most of the time when you see tech professionals, you tend to find more men than women. So of the truth, women are less represented. Now, first of all, looking at the statistics, you have lesser women have access to the internet. So for you to be a tech professional, internet is very key. So that is one barrier. Now, another thing is that why there are lesser women in the ICT industry, I would say, is the societal stereotypes. Because growing up, people see tech as a male thing, and then females do other non-tech related activities. So it takes a while for women to even break into that sector because people feel like it's a male-dominated sector, which it is already. So, of course, women are really less represented in the ICT sector.
So speaking about stereotypes, do these stereotypes evolve into interests for girls? For instance, generally speaking, guys are interested in things like football and so on, and also, techie things.
Yes.
Because it seems like we're blaming women, but do you think it's possible that women are just not interested in tech, or is that a factor?
Okay, I would say societal stereotype again, because growing up, for instance, imagine an average Nigerian home where you have twin children, a boy and a girl, and then buying toys for those children. Of course, you tend to buy like cars and more techie stuff for the boy, and then buy like dolls for the girl. That is insignificant, but growing up like that, girls tend to see, okay, guys do techie stuff, and then techie stuff is not really for girls. So it takes a girl who is really, really interested to say, okay, I want to do these things also. So growing up as a child, those stereotypes actually affects passions and it affects interests as well. So if as a girl you're growing up, you see more women doing this stuff, it will give you an idea that, okay, anybody can do this. But growing up, you see that, oh, most engineers, most programmers are men. You tend to feel like it's a male thing, even though it's not. So I feel like the stereotype comes in play again.
So in your own personal journey, how has it been navigating the tech sector? Have you had challenges because you're a woman or any such issues?
Okay, in my own personal journey, I would say growing up as a child, I had access to computers from a young age. So, but then I really wasn't into programming. It was just doing the normal computer things. So, but then over time, I developed interest because I liked the way computers worked. So I took from my interest, I pursued the passion to eventually learn to code. And then what really helped me pursue the interest more was that I attended a boot camp that was mostly for girls. So that gave me exposure. Like I said, I already had access to computers, but then I really didn't know coding, and then programming was a thing. So with that boot camp, I was exposed that, oh, this is really a field I could actually pursue and then make a career out of it. So that alone helped my own journey. So if women have that kind of opportunity, more of that, I think it will help them more to be into the ICT sector.
Okay, you mentioned a boot camp.
Yes.
Specifically for women, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I wanted to ask what are ways women could be, encouraged to get in this. But before that, let's address this issue. Some persons believe that it is counter-discrimination to have such things specifically for women. Guys start making noise like, why are you excluding the rest of us, and stuff like that. What's your take on that? Do you think it's valid, or because of the gap and everything, it's something that is necessary?
Okay, I feel like these women-specific programs are very valid, and then they should not be countered. Now, the first thing is why they spring up in the first place. It's because of the gender gap. So you don't find men in engineering programs or men in engineering bodies because this field is already male-dominated. So why you have these female-specific bodies is to encourage the lesser participants, the lesser groups to come up and then take the stage. So what we're having, of course, we already see that there's a gender gap. So we're trying to bridge this gender gap. We're trying to break the glass. We're trying to make it easy for women to get in. So that is why we have these gender-specific bodies, because, of course, there are already men in the field. So we need more women engineers. We need more women developers. We need more women taking leadership roles in the tech space. How do you get more women into this tech space? Through intervention programs like this. So I feel they are very necessary.
Are there other ways that women can be drawn into the fold?
Okay, I think other ways they can be drawn into the fold, first of all, is catching them young.
Okay.
So at a very young age, expose girls to these things. It's not like trying to force the passion on them, but then I feel like passion comes from exposure. There's some things you're passionate about, but because you're not exposed to it, you wouldn't really know. But if they're exposed to it at a very young age, if they have access to computers, access to things that would help build that passion, I feel like the ones who are really passionate about it, you can catch them on young from an early stage.
All right. Now, the theme for World Girl ICT Day for this year is Connected Girls Creating Brighter Futures. Now, in the tech space, even though there are precious few of you, is there some kind of unity amongst women in ICT, and is there a way that it can be strengthened? Okay,
so already one way women in ICT are united is through these bodies again.
Okay.
Because it is in these bodies you find communities. It's in these bodies we share our challenges that are specific to women. Because sometimes when you say these things in a general group, the men don't really understand, like, what are you talking about? But in these groups we find, I feel like we find a safe place where you can share, you can talk, and all of that.
Yeah, I want to say something. In terms of ICT, or actually the world over, there's usually a gender gap in different sectors. Do you think it might be a bit, will I say, easier to navigate the tech gender gap in terms of how most presence, or you can have a virtual presence for a very long part of your career.
Right.
You can be carrying out jobs and doing everything under a pseudonym. This is my name, and everyone thinks he's a man and everything. Do you think that helps in a way to bridge that gap in that you don't have to see who you're working with?
I don't exactly think that helps, because I feel like these days people need to be represented. First of all, if you come out as a lady, that you are working in that space, you have influence. And that influence can inspire other people. So because when they see you doing something like this and then you look like them, it gives them that confidence that if this person that looks like me can do this thing, I also can do it. So I feel like women should come out more, not mask themselves or hide themselves behind the scene.
That is true. Now, speaking of ICT itself, we've been talking about how there's a gender gap and everything. Let's talk about how lucrative the sector itself is. So, in terms of that, what are the perks? What are the benefits of being in the ICT for anybody, not just women?
Okay, ICT is a very lucrative field because, first of all, it's broad. It's beyond programming, it's beyond coding. There are so many fields. You can be a social media manager, that's ICT, project management, graphics design, and all of that. So it's really a broad field. And then one very great perk about ICT is that you have low barrier to entry. It's just for you to put in your mind and then learn. There are several online courses out there. Some of them are even free. So just sitting down, study them diligently, and then practicing on them. Within a space of 6 months, you can break into the ICT industry. So I feel that is even easier. That is why it is easier for us to close gender gap, because you don't need to go through a 4-year course in the university to get into ICT. You can diligently study, diligently practice, and then get into the sector. And apart from that, if we look at Nigeria these days, we see there are several innovations in the ICT industry, and then several jobs have sprung up from the ICT industry. Startups are employing people, startups are raising funds, startups are even putting Nigeria in the limelight in the global space. So I feel like the technology is a great field.
Everyone should be into it.
Yes, everyone should be into it.
All right. Now, what do you have to say to girls who are interested in going into ICT? Let's say there's a girl at home who has been given a doll instead of a computer,
Right.
and she's seeing you and she's saying, I think I can be like her. What would you say to her, and how she should go about this?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say to the girl, don't throw away your doll.
Okay.
So,
okay.
the fact that we're talking about computers does not neglect the fact that dolls are bad or something.
True,
you can have your doll and then you can have your computer by the side. So the thing is, just believe in yourself. You are a girl. You can do anything you put your mind to do. Not just because you're a girl, because you're a human being. Whatever you put your mind to do, you can do it. So mathematics, technology is not a male thing. Anybody can do it. In fact, the first programmer is actually a lady. She's Ada. So the first programmer is actually, so it's not really a male-dominated field. Anybody can be here. Anybody can be successful doing IT.
Well, that is very fair. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
We hope all the young girls out there listening start rushing to get into ICT.
Also.
All right, that's all we have this week on Tech Weekly. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. You can also link up with us on www.kaftan.tv. Many thanks for watching, and bye for now.